Viktor Frankl is a survivor of the Holocaust. He lived through the Holocaust as a child. I think he was maybe around 10 years old when he was put into the concentration camp at Auschwitz. And when the war was over and he was liberated, he became a very successful person. I think he's even a psychologist or something like that. And he wrote a very well-known book called Man's Search for Meaning. And in that book, he wrote this: when man can't find meaning in his life, he distracts himself with pleasure. And I think that kind of gives us a clue as to why there's so much addictions, particularly among men, all kinds of addiction: alcohol, tobacco, sex, pornography, gambling, TV, Netflix, or even sleep and eating. So, Vincent, as a psychotherapist, I'm sure you have helped people with all kinds of addiction. What do you see a link between those addictions and maybe a sense of purposelessness in their lives?
I mean, of course, there may be link, in terms of if they are not happy about or satisfied about their life, even their jobs. I mean, they tends to, of course, addiction is so-called part of the coping mechanism. They use it to cope. And of course, in terms of the working, I would say that most of them, especially for men, they are addicted to a few things, okay, like drinking. Recently I worked with quite a number of clients who their wife complained about their husband has been drinking. Yeah. But to men it's just that, I just need to relax. Drinking is just part of the hobbies. Drinking is nothing wrong. But of course their partners don't think that. They thought that it's addiction. So it's a kind of thin line, whether is it an addiction or it's just okay, I just want to drink just to release my stress. Yeah. Of course, of course, the other things is, I would say that now the addictions, also drug addictions. I work with, convicts. In this drug addiction, of course, there's another spectrum, or extreme spectrum. And also work with people who addict to pornography. And recently, because I work with men most of the time now, right now. Okay, quite a number of men approach me, and they are addicted to porno. And some even like sexual addictions.
One of the therapists, he's been coming up to prominence recently. His name is Gabo Mate. So this quote has been going around on social media, but it's actually in his book as well. He said that when you think about addictions, it's not about thinking about it, like what's wrong with the person, but what is it doing right for the person, right? So when he said, I am probably paraphrasing, but when he says that, I realized it's what is the emptiness? What is the emptiness the person is trying to feel? And how come something like so destructive like alcohol, drugs, pornography can feel that emptiness temporarily, of course.
The void.
The void. And it's very sad because you start with, maybe you start with alcohol and you may go down to, the route to drugs is there, right? You could. I'm not saying that everyone that drinks alcohol goes down to drugs, but the risk is there. Yeah, and I think personally, something that our generation needs to watch for is pornography. Because I think I work with youth, as young as like 10 years old. They're getting access to these things. In fact, when I was 10 years old, so we all had access to these things. It was all on the internet. So and I think I did work with a few men, myself also, having been exposed to it, there needs to be some unlearning, right? So we went through a 2-year accountability program, 2 years, just the 6 of us. Check in every week for 2 years. I can say now I'm honestly quite I stay away from industry and sorts of it. It's really very bad for the brain and how we relate to other people.
I know the guy Gabo Mate you talked about. I don't know him personally, but I've watched some of his videos, read some of his books. For example, Scattered Minds, where he talks about ADHD, right? And I think what he said was if you show me somebody with addiction, I will show you his pain, or tell me what his pain is, right? Addiction is basically a person's way of numbing that pain, you know? Yeah. So I thought that was very profound. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he also, training professionals to become, in the areas of compassionate inquiry. Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, that's his training. Yeah.
What's your take on this concept of passion?
Yeah, actually, when I was growing up, I was described as quite a passionate person, like in secondary school. But I wasn't aware of it. So my teachers would say it. But when I entered junior college, I hated that word. I absolutely hated it because it just sounded like fluff. How do you define that, right? Yeah. Um, until today, it's quite hard to define it. I feel sometimes it's something that we tell ourselves to make ourselves feel better. But at the end of the day, um, doing something that I love to do is difficult. Being a social worker is not easy. I think passion is that commitment, that fidelity to the cause. There are days that you like it, there are days that you don't like it, you wake up and you do it. There are days that you want to give up, you wake up and yeah. So I'm still learning the term lah, but I'm understanding passion as I live my life lor. Like, oh, actually I didn't know I care for this so much, you know. Even if, like I say, me and my wife quarrel, then I must eat the humble pie and apologize for that time. Or she also apologizes lah. Yeah, I'm really grateful for that. But I also realized, oh, actually, wow, I didn't realize I could love like that. Yeah. So I'm still understanding. Oh, maybe I have this thing that maybe it's passion, the passion to love others lah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think passion is a word that describes how you feel strongly about something, isn't it? Um, I think it's a word that, I think you correctly say, it's kind of not very clear exactly what it means. So different people can take it to mean different things. Like follow your passion, what you love to do. I watched this video, the commencement speech by Ben Horowitz to the graduating class at which university was that? I believe it was Columbia University. And the title of his speech was "Don't Follow Your Passion," which was very, very unusual, right? Because it goes against everyone, everything that everyone else is saying. Follow your passion. And he gave a very, very interesting example. He says, everyone who auditions for American Idol says that they are passionate about singing. But more than half of them don't have the skill. They don't have the voice, right? So, be careful what you call your passion. You may be passionate about something, but it might not be your career. What about your career then? Can you just be passionate about doing what you're doing? All right. I think it's a matter of attitude also. If you're given a job to do and you do it with all your heart, you do it with all your might, that's passion, isn't it? Whether you love it or not, that's besides the point, But if a person has that basic attitude, I mean, he will show passion. He will do it with the attitude of excellence, right? And do the best that he can. What do you think, Vincent?
I think that also in terms of passion can be cultivated. Yeah, can be cultivated. Yeah. And not necessarily that, maybe at the start, you mean you don't have passion, you must do something that you love to. Like some of my clients, although they may not like the kind of job that they're working, but when they work, after a few years, they realize that, yeah, this is something maybe I love to do. Yeah, and then they continue, yeah, as a career. Yeah, so I believe that passions can be cultivated. Yeah, and of course, in terms of the passions, what we love to do, like what you all have mentioned, maybe it's not your work. If you, let's say, you don't love to work, in your job, but you can cultivate or you can have another passions or as an interest, not necessarily as a job. Of course, the best thing is you can have both worlds, you love to do what you do, and you enjoy doing it, and it's a job. That means it's no longer just a job, it's a calling. Yeah.
Has anyone heard of this company called Medtronics? MED Tronics, Tronics, Medtronics.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they are the manufacturing a lot of different kind of medical equipment, and one of those equipment is a pacemaker. All
Mm,
right. Yeah, I heard of this company many years ago, and I mean, it's a manufacturing company, so people who work there, are manufacturers. They are working either in the manufacturing department or they are working in the sales department. Doesn't sound very glamorous, isn't it? But the CEO made things feel different. And what he did was this: he would assign one of the salesmen to a hospital. The salesman would actually have an office at the hospital. And every time the surgeons were about to put a pacemaker into a patient, this salesman would be standing next to the surgeon, of course, dressed in all the medical attire, right? Sanitized and all that.
mm,
Now, what's the purpose? Well, the purpose is as the surgeon is putting the pacemaker into the patient, the salesman is there to watch and see how easy or how difficult it is for the surgeon to put that piece of equipment into the patient, right? And the surgeon might be making comments, oh, this thing doesn't fit, right? I wish this was, this shape rather than this shape. This is just sticking out and it's blocking the way. And the salesperson will be taking notes
mm,
and he will report it back to the HQ, back to the manufacturing, back to the design department, and they will start working on it, all right, and then begin to redesign that equipment so that the surgeons will not face the same difficulty again.
Mm.
And then once a year, they would invite all the patients who have received the pacemaker to the hospital or at least to a place. And there would be this great gathering and great celebration, you know. And as the patients with the pacemaker in them walk into the hall, all the staff of Medtronics would be there to welcome them, applaud them, and every member of the staff now sees what they are working for. Well, I thought that was so
Yeah.
amazing, right? A mundane job, but turned into something that you begin to see, hey, this has meaning. It's saving lives. I wonder if this can be done for every job.
Yeah. Just interesting, right? I mean, yeah, for this because then it is the top management decisions to do that. Yeah. I mean the CEO of course of a company that need to do that.
yeah. And it acknowledges the importance of like seeing the fruit of your labor, right?
Mm.
What am I working for? What is this company about? Yeah. I mean, for my job, I remember when I first started, and I was in a setting that dealt with primarily family violence, people who cause harm, and the survivors are the victims. Um,
Mm.
one of my seniors told me, actually, out of maybe 100 cases, maybe three will make you go like, "Wow, I'm really doing some good work." Right, the rest, is going to be a tussle because sometimes we talk to them, violence happens again, uh, and it's difficult. Yeah, so I do think actually in organizations, in that particular organization, every quarter, the whole company will meet and then they would celebrate together. So it's very helpful because we're all like in the social service agencies, right? So if one part is struggling, right, we draw strength from a celebration of the other part. Maybe an elderly being supported by many services, a whole family graduating from a program for financial independence and whatnot. Like these things were celebrated, and I thought that yeah, maybe in my work, in my season of my work, I'm not seeing much fruits, but I can draw strength that okay, lives are still changing and we'll take it one day at a time. And I'll still continue working for lives to be changed. Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, when we work with humans, right? I guess Vincent and Parcsen, it's very dynamic. Yeah, very very dynamic. Yeah, but really, hats off to the CEO. I think he really understands what an employee feels when he does that. You're just doing the pacemaker, like a like a in a factory worker. You don't know. It's just an object. Right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't know how you're actually saving lives. Yeah.
I don't think you can say the same for the iPhone, isn't it? It's made in China, most of it, right? and the workers there are paid very little and they work long hours, right? And I mean, how are you going to help them see the meaning of producing an iPhone? I can't think of any way.
I think the focus to be treating them better first.
Exactly,
Yeah, I
exactly.
maybe start with that. Yeah.